Hey, welcome back to Dance Studio Advertising. I'm Bryce Conlon. If you're watching the video version of this, I've got a friend with me today, joined by Brittany Thompson, a good friend of ours from Dance Unlimited, just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. Brittany, welcome to the hang.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, really excited. So we've been working together for a while. Recently heard that
Mhm.
you're celebrating a few big wins. Why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about the studio, where you are, how long you've been in business, all of that.
So, the studio has been in business since 1979, and it was started by my husband's mom and her sister, Ainsley Thompson and Becky Kosman. And the studio has just kept going. It's still going. They actually decided to retire at the
It was like
end
2 years
of,
ago, right?
yeah, so this is the second season that they'll be retired. And so Taylor and I have been running the studio, and it's been great. We've made some changes that are for the better. We're starting to see like some of those seeds that we planted start to fruit, and that's really rewarding. So we still have lots of other things in mind. One of the things that we're like really starting to see change is the growth in students and the number of classes that we have. We actually have been running three studios, but now we're turning our dancers lounge into a fourth studio.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
going to have four rooms now. So that's really exciting.
That's super exciting. Congrats on that. So you, by the way, own business owner to business owner, there's always more. It doesn't matter how long you do it or how great you do, there's just always more.
You're never satisfied.
No,
You hit one goal and you're like, okay, well, what's the next one? And then you hit that one and it's, well, what's the next one? You're never done.
never done. So tell me about the growth that you've had because I just sort of heard through the grapevine last week that you had a monster enrollment day and it absolutely floored me. Tell me about that.
So it wasn't planned. I just sat down and I was like, I'm gonna remarket to all of my leads in my DMM platform.
All right, pause.
And
Let's define what that means because there's going to be people
okay,
here who don't know what that means to remarket. So if you would just back it up a little bit, tell me what that means.
so remarketing means that you send a text out to all of the leads that you have in your DMM platform. And I've never actually done what I did before, which was I remarketed to leads that I remarketed to leads that every lead in the platform, whether they had previously enrolled with me or they hadn't, or they had just come out of our summer session. I remarketed to every single one of them, which was over 1,000 leads. And I I didn't plan to enroll around like 50 students in one day. It just happened that way. And most of those dancers that enrolled that day were returning students, dancers who were previously enrolled with us. A lot of them who had taken over the summer, who had taken in our spring session. And I just felt like that was a great testament to the classes we've been giving. Um, I even texted our teachers that day and I was like, props to you guys. I just enrolled like 50 kids today in 8 hours, and most of these kids are returning students. There were a few new ones in there. I said, but most of them are returning students. And that's because you're giving great classes. The kids are having fun. The parents are seeing the growth in their kids and they want to bring them back. The kids want to come back. So, I mean, I sent the text, but they did all the work in the classroom to make them want to come back. So, good job to them.
Yeah, I mean, enrollment is absolutely a team effort from the front
It
desk
is.
all the way through to the classroom, the in-classroom experience.
It
Um,
is.
that's going to sound like magic to a lot of people, that you sent out a text message and 50 people enrolled in a day, even if they're returning, just to have that spot filled and to know that, that kid is coming back as a returning student, gonna feel like magic. What did this text say?
Um, I honestly don't remember. It was just like my initial text announcing that enrollment was open for our fall session. And I know that I did include in there that the session ran all the way from September to May, which is a really long session. I'm not sure that all studios run a session that long, but I also put in there that there is an exciting recital at the end of the session. And um yeah, but the exact wording, I'm not. I don't exactly remember what I said.
That's okay. I think it said fall in to dance with us. Does that sound familiar?
No, it was
Got it.
that. It wasn't that one. That
Okay.
was the one I sent last week.
Okay. So this is really interesting because if you're listening in on this and you're hearing like, okay, what's the magic language that got used? Like, it's so insignificant that Brittany doesn't even remember what it was.
No, I just put in there that it was that we were kicking off our fall session, that we offered classes for ages 2 to 18. The session ran all the way through May. And I said something like it ends with a bang, or it ends with an exciting and fun-filled recital, something like that.
Easy, yeah, like nothing magic, nothing super
No. Mm-mm.
complicated, nothing fancy. Were you surprised when you sent it out? Were you surprised by the results?
I was, because like I said, it wasn't planned. I've never enrolled that many dancers in one day before, and I'm still enrolling dancers. So that's just how many I enrolled in that day. So I'm sure there's still some that I'm talking to who haven't made the decision to enroll yet, who have been in contact with me because of that text that I sent. So I'm sure those numbers are going up, but I haven't really been tracking if that I'm speaking to them off of that initial text. I was just like so shocked off of the amount of people I enrolled in one day that I was just like so excited about that I forgot to keep tracking it.
Well, it's just such a great testament to the fact that we think that everything that we're doing with the word of mouth, with the community events, with the emails that we're sending, with the social posts, we think that that's a lot. But when you put yourself in the shoes of mom, who is being bombarded not just by what you're putting out there, but also what every other program and sports and school information and all the things, it's so easy to just get lost in the mix. And so what I love about what you did by remarketing, and we encourage all of our studios to actively remarket and to keep track of how it's going. Um, the beauty about remarketing is you're putting an immediate question, like a direct question in front of mom. And it still might get lost in the sauce, right? If she happens to be in the line at Starbucks when she gets that text and barista calls her name and she's off again. But it's far more likely that you start a conversation with someone than just the email newsletter blast, which nobody's opening anymore, or the social post, which there's a billion of them, and so we just scroll right by. Like the direct text remarketing, so smart.
It
Will you do it
is.
again next year or next season or next session or in January?
So I actually remarket about every 2 weeks when I'm starting a session. Um, and maybe about every 3 weeks from the start of the session all the way up until um, we close enrollment
Hmm.
off. And then, at least for the kids who can be in recital, because they start learning routines. But when we do that, we start a whole new winter session for kids who can come in, take a short 6 or 8 week session, and then they don't have to commit to recital. We start a whole new session. So I am remarketing every 2 weeks for that one. But I think I am going to try this year to keep remarketing every 2 weeks, even after the session starts, and just see what happens. Instead of having the mentality that, well, if they wanted to enroll, they probably would have by now because the session has already started. Because, like I said, I've never just literally remarketed to every single lead in my DMM platform before. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance today. I'm going to see what happens. And so I did, and the results were great. So now I'm like, well, I think I need to step out of my comfort zone a little bit more and stop being afraid of rejection. If they're going to reject me at the 2 week mark, they're going to reject me at the 3 week mark. So I'm just going for it.
I love it. And I love that because parents don't know, and we talk about this a lot inside DMM is parents don't know the dance world. They don't know that
They
session has
don't.
started. They don't know that, costumes have to be ordered by such and such date. They don't know. They don't know.
They
They're just
don't.
like, my kid just asked me about dance today. Or I signed him up for soccer and it's over now. And now we're gonna go try something else. Like they don't know. And so
Yeah.
if you don't have to be the best studio in town to attract the kids, you just need to be the most visible studio in town and remarketing the strategy the mindset that you're adopting, going in the direction of I'm just going to keep offering it to you until you tell me to stop. That's the way. That's the way.
Yeah.
So really good stuff. Really good. You've also had some pretty interesting growth on the competition side of the business, which I
Yes,
know is
we
a like, tell me about that because I know this is a deep passion for you. Like this is
it
your
is.
jam. Like you love the competition team. You love your rec
Yes.
dancers too, but comp holds
Right.
a special place in your heart.
It does. I grew up in competitive dance, actually coached by a coach that works for me now. So that's interesting how things come full circle. But we had a very small competition program last year. We had 32 dancers, and now we have 50 dancers in our competitive program. So we gained
Wow.
18 new competitive dancers, and most of those dancers came from other studios in the area. And just, we saw you at competition, and we want to know what you're about. And, one mom even said, my dancer saw one of your groups dance. This was one of our new teen dancers. She said she saw you dance, one of your teen groups dance at a competition, and she said, "Mom, I want that." And so, just people seeing us at competitions, and I and again, I like to brag on my teachers a lot because we really do have some of the best teachers, if not the best teachers in the area. We just provide top notch training. I feel like they're amazing, and we're all really knowledgeable. We all have great credentials behind our names, and it shows. And I feel like when people see us, they can see, wow, they have something, and it attracts people. So we haven't had a growth in our competition side of things that big in, I mean, I was talking with Taylor and Ainsley, and they can't even remember the last time. So
Wow.
that's another good win for us too.
That's huge.
And the 50 students that I enrolled in that one day that did not include my new competition kids.
That was just rec kids.
It was just rec kids.
Wow. Makes it even more impressive. Let me ask you a
Yes.
question. I wasn't gonna ask this. I don't think I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. And
Okay.
if this doesn't work, we'll cut it out. It's fine. It's fine. How d- how do you I know a lot of studios, well, first it's frowned upon in the dance world to quote poach kids from other programs. And what you just shared with me could maybe be classified as that. On the other hand, it's just you're offering a phenomenal service and people see that and they want it. What are your thoughts on that?
We didn't poach them. We never contact a family or a dancer from another studio and invite them to come to our studio or ask them to come to our studio. We have no communication with them until they reach out to us and say, "Hey, my dancer is interested in switching to your studio this next season," and we will speak with them there. We still never mention their current studio in conversation with them. We still never, you know, talk about why we think our studio is better than theirs. We let what we do speak for itself.
That's great.
We we don't do that. We never have, and we pride ourselves on that. Never once have we reached out to another dancer or another studio and asked them to come to ours.
So let me ask you, what when you're looking at, I mean, you've nearly doubled your comp team
Almost.
in one season. Like that is monstrous. How did that happen? So 18, you're plus 18, right? From where you were
Mhm.
last year. Were they all from the outside? Were some of them from the inside that you raised up? I'm just curious about, because I'm sure there's studio owners who are listening to this going, I would love to have, because we all, I mean, we all know teaching an empty classroom, super hard. So, like not fun, really hard. You get that many high tier, talented dancers in a room. That's just a blast. So I'm sure there's others who are listening to this going, besides just cleaning up a competition this last year and attracting a few from the outside, were you also building from the inside and bringing more kids up through the ranks?
Absolutely. We, all of us in our rec classes, when we see dancers that we think have a lot of potential and that could fit in our competition program, we start planting that seed with the parent as soon as we notice it.
Cool.
So the parent has lots of time to think about it. We will invite them and their dancer to come in and sit in on a practice with in a routine that's the age group that that dancer would be in, the level that that dancer would be in, and we kind of start planting that seed then. We invite them to come watch the kids at competition if they'd like. Most of the time they don't come to the competition. We do invite them though to do that. Most of them will just come into the classroom and watch a practice. Our competition teams are practicing at the same time as our rec classes are going on in other studios, so a lot of times the parents are looking in the window, and the kids who are waiting to start class, they're looking in the window and they're watching. And but we plant that seed as soon as we notice that that dancer has potential, and we want that dancer to come and compete with us.
That's really cool. Really cool. I mean, I'll just congratulations on everything all the way along. It's really
Thanks.
cool to watch the growth. 50 enrollments in a day. They're still rolling in. I'm actually in your pipeline now. Looks like you've got so many conversations that are still in process, and those numbers are
Yes.
only going to go up.
Yes, I'm on there every day. Actually, today I'm going to get on and talk to parents who, this is another thing I do. I don't do this as often as I should, and I need to do this more. But you can actually create a smart list or filter out to where you're only talking to people who haven't responded to you within like the last 72 hours. And then you can just shoot them a text like, depending on where you left off, like, hi, I noticed that I haven't received your registration link back yet. Do you have any questions about the enrollment process? What can I help you with? How can I be of assistance? Those type of questions, just to get that conversation going so it doesn't get too dry.
Yeah, or overwhelming for you when you have
Yeah.
to go back and or like you said, when leads go cold and now you have to cold start rather than they already remember who you are, and that's super smart. Yeah, what Brittany's talking about is actually a part of the service that we provide at Dance Motion Marketing. Yes, we do paid ads and the strategy and the offer creation and all of the building out, but we learned over the years that we also needed to provide studios with a place to easily and quickly keep track of leads and follow up with them. Maybe you've heard Go High Level as a CRM. That's what we've built ours on. And we've just organized it differently than I think a lot of the other providers of High Level or Go High Level have, because we really try to keep it, all the conversations focused on relevance and keeping leads warm and hot so that they know who you are when you reach out. And by the way, we use the same system ourselves for our team at Dance Motion Marketing, and I do that. That's the role I sit in. It works. If you stay on top of it, you are a human. You don't try to automate everything. You just chat with people in a real way. Holy smokes, does it work? And I think what you heard from Brittany today is a powerful testament to that. Brittany, last
Yes.
question for you is, I'm sure there's folks who are sitting here going, I want that. I want to replicate that kind of growth in my business. What would you say to them?
I would say, honestly, when I noticed the change in the growth at the studio, it started with when we took over the studio, we had to change the culture with the staff. So our
Actually, hold on. So
okay,
paint the picture for me because we probably should have started here actually. When you took over the studio, it was a little bit of a bumpy ride.
it was so bumpy.
Like paint the picture so that folks can understand where you started because where you are today is it's a miracle that you are where you are. And I sort of want folks to get that.
Yeah. So when we took over the studio, basically we had two separate toxic environments. One outside of the office between like competition parents, competition kids. The rec parents and the kids were fine at that point. But then we also had a toxic environment inside the office. So between the staff, it was like staff against staff. And, staff, I feel like we all like cared about each other and wanted everybody to be successful, but I think some of us wanted to be successful first. And
Yeah, more successful, right?
yes, like it was more like a me mentality
Yeah.
and, maybe like trying to outdo the other staff and not really working cohesively as a team. Um, Staff calling out all the time on very, very short notice. Just staff not doing anything that we needed them to do, not giving us availability to because we don't put our solos, duos, or trios on the schedule. We put out availability from their coach, and then they can sign up for times to work with their coaches. Um, Having problems getting those coaches to give us times so that their routines could come into practice. I'm talking like going months without
Yeah.
giving us time.
Yeah.
And that has all changed. Like I'm talking, but our staff hasn't changed, but the
Wow.
cohesiveness has. We still have all of those same teachers. No new teachers have come into the picture, still the same group of teachers, but they're like coming in before their shift and like cleaning the studio. They're doing everything that we ask. They're giving us those times. When all of that changed and they realized, okay, hey, wait, Brittany and Taylor have our back. They have our support. They're not going to let these competition parents just run us over. They're not going to make me keep a dancer in my routine who never shows up to practice. They're not going to make me do all these things that I don't feel supported when these things happen. They're providing tools for me. They're providing new equipment for me to help me be a better teacher. That's when it all started changing. We're giving better classes now. Um, we're more excited about coming to the studio. Like when that all changed inside the office, it changed outside the office too. And I feel like if you don't have a good culture, and I'm talking like a cohesive team inside your office, then it's going to be hard to blossom anything outside the office. You have to have that. And I think once we started getting that, we were just like, whoa, what's happening? Like, we have teachers who never taught preschool classes before, like, willing to teach preschool classes now and doing the best job at it. And I'm like, do you want a break? I can give this class to somebody else next year. You've done this for a whole year. No. If I need to do it, I'll do it. Those were her exact words. And I'm like, what is happening?
Wow. I think this is going to be a bit of a curveball for those who are listening, right? Because and we talk a lot in our power hours and our masterminds here at DMM about the importance of, and we say, and you've heard me say this, like you in particular have heard me say this 1,000 times. If you want to grow your business, you have to grow your people. If you want to grow your people, you got to grow yourself. That's the order. Grow you, grow your people, grow your business in that order. And I think this is going to be a bit of a curveball for those who are listening because they're probably, when I ask the question, how can someone else replicate it? I'm guessing they were probably thinking tactics. Oh, send this email. Oh, use these magic words. Oh, set up this. Oh, join DMM. Oh, whatever. And the answer was for you, change your culture.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I cannot tell you, I can't even put into words the difference that it has made. I mean, even, having like a zero toxicity policy with our like competition parents, and it like the kids are even different coming to class now. And I will say this too, the ones, I know all studio owners have this fear because I had this fear too. You don't want to make people mad because you don't want them to leave their studio, but we did have a dancer, a really, really good dancer, leave our studio at the end of last season, this past season that just ended,
Yeah.
because she didn't like the new rules, the new structure, like that you have to meet these requirements to be a part of our competition team. And she left, and it's okay. The environment in the room without somebody dragging everybody down, it's it's okay. It's okay. I promise it's okay to lose people who don't fit your culture. It's okay, because if they stay, it's going to be harder for you to be successful in creating the culture that you want, because there's setbacks, and with setbacks you're not going to get there. So promise it's okay.
Really, really good stuff. Well, Brittany, thanks for joining me today. I mean, you're always a delight to chat with, and I love seeing you on the Thursday, the Thursday Power Hour calls, just about every week. And honestly, I'm so proud of you, just in where you and Taylor have come, because I remember those early days when you took over the studio. I remember the tearful conversations that we had and the
Yes.
frustrations and the painful decisions that you had to make in order to create the culture that you now are reaping the benefit of. And I just want to say I'm really proud of you. I'm thrilled for your growth, but like for the studio growth, but I'm even more thrilled for your personal growth and your growth with Taylor as a team. So bravo, well done. Thanks for taking a few minutes to share your story.
Yeah. Thank you.